Guys, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I've got all my stuff going. So Tayson is out on his motorcycle. It's so beautiful outside. I have to have my window open. It's just bringing in this beautiful crisp fall air. We're in the full moon, but you might hear him racing around because he is so funny. He's so addicted to his motorcycle. It's basically gets home from school, throws his backpack down. He's on the motorcycle for the rest of the night, and it's just his little passion. So we'll probably hear him racing around outside the window, a few dogs barking, tis my life. But I welcome it. I welcome the chaos. It is my happiness, and I choose to embrace the crazy instead of being driven crazy by the crazy. So, giving you guys a second to hop on, we're going to talk about the past and how sometimes that can haunt us. I'm going to post my little link here in the comments. If this stuff intrigues you and you're like, wow, this is kind of cool, you can hop into my Facebook group. I do lots of stuff like this. I actually do a video in there as well on Mondays at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That one, hi Lisa, that one is more directed on the body and healing. And this platform that I do at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I try to keep it a little more on the overall reaching. So it's for everyone. And you should be able to get some beautiful things out of it to help yourself. And so as titled, we are going to talk about, is your past haunting you? As I started writing this and diving into what I wanted to talk about, we're going to look at it from a couple points of view, because I think that, at least for myself, sometimes my past haunts me because it's stuff that I've done that I wish I wouldn't. So I have that guilt feeling. And sometimes my past haunts me because it's more of a grief thing. And those, are a little bit different. So I'm actually going to give you some ways that you can work on overcoming both of those. And so as you watch this, I'll just encourage you to be really open-minded. Maybe you've never looked at it like this before, and it might be a little bit of a little bit of a changer for you, as it doesn't always follow the best practices. Don't always follow traditionally what we've been taught. Let's just put it like that. All right. So what do we normally do? We go through stuff, and unfortunately, we really aren't taught as kiddos or adults or anything else how to really process through when things happen to us. So we shove it away. We shove it away. Lots of people like to call it our shadows. It's kind of like wearing a backpack and shoving it all in there. And of course, what happens when you try to go on a vacation and you have too much stuff shoved in your backpack? You can't do the zippers up, right? You're trying to sit on the bag. You're trying to shove it together. I've done this before where I've way overloaded my suitcase. And then when I got to the airport and got my bag off of the luggage conveyor, because I had put so much stress on my zipper and going through the stress of traveling, right? My zipper blew open and my bag was open and I'd lost all my stuff. So we try to shove all of our emotions away, and eventually it causes us problems because it does get overloaded. The zipper blows up. We're in complete and total chaos. We think that we forgot about it. We think we've ignored it, but really it's still there. It doesn't disappear. So the things in this backpack, the stuff that we shove in there, they dictate how we act. And so sometimes when there's even times that I know that I've talked to somebody, like even Dave, and I'm like, why are you acting like that? Or, you ask your kids, like, why are you acting like that? And the person responds like they don't really know. Or, if you've been even to a therapist, they might say, well, why do you think this is happening? And you're like, I don't know. So sometimes those underlying issues that we have from our past are creating the way that we're responding now, and we're actually not even aware of why we're doing what we're doing, because cognitively we're not really talking to our subconscious. And so our subconscious has all this stuff back there that we've shoved away, and it is creating problems for us. With how, you can think of it as like, maybe you're riding a bicycle and you have this backpack that's just so full of all this heavy stuff, but you can't figure out why it's so dang hard to ride your bike. It's just because of all that weight that you have going on there. So here's the thing. The majority of the population is completely oblivious to the fact that they are an energy source. They have been taught through culture and society that they are physical, and everything that they do is based off of their physical body, everything that they can see. If you go back in time, you will see that our ancestors, no matter where you are from, your ancestors were really tapped into higher level conscious and tapped into nature and tapped into all of this beautiful oneness. And it wasn't until, we came along and created all of these other ideas, and man tries to take over and becomes power hungry. And then we come through all of this different eras where we actually start to challenge the thoughts of the previous ancestors. We start actually taking people's lives for what they're believing. And so we move and we do this huge shift away from all of this. And so we become very detached from that space that we used to be. And I'm not even saying that that necessarily created, this horrible thing. I mean, so many not good things came out of that, because that's where you see people starting to go through these horrific events where we are slaughtering people in the name of, religion. And, there's just so much confrontational energy around that. We won't even go into that. But we shift. And I personally believe the shift, happened for a reason. We have amazing technology and beautiful things that have come from that shift. But at the time where we are right now, we start to see that we need to start shifting back the other way again, because there's a lot going on, right? And there is a huge vibrational energy shift happening, and it is directing a lot of people back to this, whatever you want to call it, this ancient shamanic way of thinking, where people are understanding like we're all one as a whole. And that's a very deep concept that we won't go any more into with this, but just giving you an overall understanding that most people are very much in this age that we're at, super on this surface level of, I'm a physical being. When something is wrong, I look at my symptoms, I go get medication. Hi, Fred, I go get medication and I expect something to happen. If I can't get fixed by medication, then I'm probably going to go have surgery. And that's just how we've been programmed. And so we don't view ourselves as really an energy. So when we start talking about ourselves as an energy and we start understanding really what's happening, a lot of things make more sense. On my group that I posted the link for you to earlier, I did a video on the common cold and how it really can be something that isn't what you're taught it is. And it can actually be from some conflict energy that you have going on. And it's your body's response to a situation that potentially is stinky. And not necessarily actually stinky as in the sense of it smells bad, but it does smell bad as far as, yeah, this is just a really yucky situation to be in. And that's your body's previous response to how it would react back when we were in survival mode. And unfortunately, now we're all in survival mode again. And so your body is responding like it would, and it goes through this dry nose phase, and then it goes through a stuffy nose phase, and then it goes through a healing phase where your nose starts draining. And all of this is part of your body in dealing with conflict. And it shows itself as a symptom of what you think is a virus. And so getting rid of the conflict can also clear out your cold. And there's just so many more amazing ways when we look at things in this untraditional view, and it makes a lot of sense. And then you can actually recover from things rather quickly when you get this grasp of what this is going on. So let's talk about this in the way of our past and how this kind of comes to haunt us. So basically everything is a vibration. This little rock that I'm holding is a vibration. I'm a vibration. My water bottle has energy attached to it. Everything is a vibration. We can measure it. So some things are a different vibrational source than others. And there is, people right now, it's the full moon. So I've seen lots of people today. Oh, it's the full moon. And so I'm having issues with my husband or my wife. Oh, it's the full moon and I can't sleep. And people were like, I know it's got to be because of the moon. And it is. The moon is vibrational energy coming off of the moon. You see the gravitational pull. The moon has effects on water. Our bodies are water. And so we simply need to align ourselves to receive the energy of the moon instead of having a polar attraction to it, where it's basically creating this confrontational energy source around us. And so we use this beautiful thought process to align ourselves with things, and so that we can be in vibrational harmony. Sometimes people, when they're in relationships, they're like, I don't know what's going on. Like everything seems fine, but we just can't quite mesh. And I'll, look and say, oh, you guys, do you have this vibrational relationship rhythm, and your rhythm is just slightly off key? The easiest way for me to explain this, and I explained this to my husband the other day, I flew KC-135, so you can't really see it, and it's hard to do because it's opposite. So see, it's that plane right there. I'm backwards, so it's weird. So the KC-135 has 4 engines. So each wing has 2. And as the pilot, you have 4 throttles. And so what happens is, if you're really receptive to vibrations, then you will want to slap the person next to you if they are the pilot and they have one of those throttles, and the RPM of that engine is slightly out of sequence with the other ones. And so when I would fly with people, it was very important to me that all 4 of my engines are vibrating in harmony with each other. And it would make this beautiful, just beautiful, really amazing noise, like this very harmonious noise. And when one of those throttles gets a little bit out of sequence, it makes a very irritating noise because one of them isn't vibrating with the others. And if you are sensitive to that, you can pick it up. And so it was really hard sometimes because I would fly with people who would just put them all in alignment. Hello, Pamela. Put them all in alignment, just so they're aligned together. But unfortunately, it's an old airplane and that's not how it works. So you'd have to like finesse them. And so they weren't always exactly lined up as far as being straight across from each other. And it honestly was an art. But it kind of works the same way with the vibrational frequencies around you. You just want to be able to get into that vibrational state. Okay, so let's talk about what we can do. How do we change, kind of like how Fred just said, how do we receive energy of the moon? I'm going to show you some things that you can do. It's all just with intention. And I'm going to show you this really beautiful script. In fact, I can give it to you if you want to message it to me after we're done, or I'll post it in my group in that link that I put up at the top, because right now I am streaming on a whole bunch of different platforms. And so if you go to that group, I'll post it for you here when we're done. So here we go. Michael Wickett, he discovered this law of control is what it's called. And this is a really great way to explain this about why this happens. So we start feeling a certain way and our thoughts take over and then we react. Okay. So when we feel good about ourselves, it's to the degree that we feel in control. Let you sit and think about that one for a second. We feel good about ourselves to the degree in which we feel in control. So how many of you feel completely out of control right now, as far as your health goes, as far as your emotions go, right? Because that's how that works. So feelings pop up. And if these are feelings from the past, because what we're talking about today, we lose control of our thoughts. So those feelings pop up. Ooh, I don't like that feeling. I'm having a feeling of the past. I feel anxious. Now I start losing control of my thoughts because anxiety is kicking in. Now what's going on with my thoughts? They're going 100 miles an hour. Everything that I am thinking about from this time when I felt anxiety is now running like a movie in my head over and over and over. I'm starting to have heart palpitations. I'm like feeling like I'm having a panic attack. And now I'm responding, and my actions are reflecting how I am feeling. So now I'm starting to be irritable. I'm arguing with my kids. I'm arguing with my spouse. I'm not getting along well with others. And so can you kind of see how that cycle goes? It's the law of control. And so I'm losing control. And so because I've lost control of now how I'm acting, see how that cycles back? I feel really yucky. So when we change the way that we feel, we change the way that we think, and we change the way that we think, we change the way that we act. And so this has a positive effect back. And so how do we do that? So a couple things I'm going to tell you. One, you got to really become aware. So this part is important in order to do the second step. So becoming aware. You start feeling this way. Why? Why am I feeling this way? And I want you to really, really get with yourself. Don't just be like, why do I feel this way? Well, because don't give me like the shallow answer. I want you to really get with yourself. So how do you get with yourself? You sit, you breathe in through your nose. And so if I start having a feeling, I will be like, what is that feeling? Oh, I'm feeling it. It feels like anxiety. Okay, what are we taught to do? Ah, here comes my anxiety. Shove it in the backpack, try to do the zipper, and then it really doesn't go anywhere. And in a little while, it's going to come back. So instead, I'm going to be like, okay, why? Why am I feeling this anxiety? Maybe I am stuck on something that's happened in the past. Maybe I'm feeling guilt, and the guilt is causing anxiety. Lots of stuff feed into other things. So when people feel anxiety, anxiety usually feeds into depression. And so sometimes we look at depression and then we're like, I'm trying to fix my depression. Figure out, okay, I feel depressed. Go a little deeper. Go a little deeper. Why do I feel depressed? Because I feel exhausted. Well, why am I feeling exhausted? Because I have lots of anxiety because of everything that's going on. So that anxiety is making me feel exhausted, which is making me feel depressed. Kind of see how that goes? So we're really diving into like, where is this underlying thing coming from? So what is your why? Now, if it is something like I have some guilt from something I did when I was 16, okay, then that's when we start to recollect with ourselves. Okay, life is a process. And so we are viewing the world wrong. We are viewing our life incorrectly. I cannot express to you enough right now. I'm going to say this to all of you. You guys, there is no one, save if you believe in Jesus Christ, there is no one that does not have thing that they wish they would have done differently. Give yourself permission to let it go. If a person will not let you let that go, it is on them. It is part of vibrating in a higher space to forgive people and to let things go. I mean, do your part. If you need to apologize to someone, do your part to make it right. But give yourself permission. Let it go. Okay? What unresolved issue is causing your problem? Can it be fixed? If it can be fixed, fix it. Oh, but Amy, I went and tried to talk to my mom and she's not receptive and she won't listen to me. And so I can't ever fix it. So I just have to live like this. Then understand that you did your part and stop holding yourself accountable for the response of your mom. Okay? It is not your responsibility to take on the fact that you are having someone that can't forgive you. Now, if you did something really horrible and you're just walking around acting like it doesn't matter, and you just want to get past it, and it doesn't matter that you hurt someone, then, you're dealing with some of the laws of universal energy and some of that karma. So clear your karma out. Clear your karma out. Do what you can to make it better. Maybe you just need to write a letter to someone and let them know, like, hey, I am truly 100% humbly apologetic, and do that, but close that door for yourself. Okay. So feeling things raw and real is really important. And now we're going to go into this next step. This is where I want you to keep a really open mind, because some of you are going to be like, what is this? Because you've never experienced this before. And so you're really stuck in I'm just going to go to therapy and they're going to give me a checklist of stuff to do. And I'm going to fill out these worksheets, and then I'm going to take them back and we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about it some more, and we're going to just keep talking about it all the time. And for those of you that are like, yeah, I've been in the therapy cycle and for my entire life. So let's break out of that cycle. Let's have really open minds and let's try something really different today. And I'm going to show you this. Okay. Now I've typed this out, so I'm going to do it here. I'm going to read it to you. Now you can do this the way that resonates and feels right with you. And if you're like, but I really like this script and I really want it, then great, super, I'll give it to you. No big deal. Don't worry about trying to write it down. I will happily give it to you. In fact, for people that do sessions with me, I actually use your subconscious and create this script for yourself based off of what your little noggin needs to have to imprint this into your head. So when we are working on fixing the subconscious, it's pretty easy to replace negative vibrational things with positive ones. It's a little bit harder with the actual cognitive mind. And when you don't do it on both, so if you're only into energy healing and you're releasing the subconscious issues, but you're not focusing on the cognitive mind at all, you will not get to a full balance. You have to focus on the cognitive and the subconscious. That is why I developed ELV, which is Elevate Life Vibration. Okay. So here we go. Let me see. Depression takes time to fix. So without help by family, we can't help anyone. Hello. Hi. Yes. Hello, Joshua. Yes. The comments. Sorry, I got a little like off there because I was reading more comments in one time. So depression takes time to fix. Absolutely. Guys, think about your backpack. How many years of stuff do you have shoved into your backpack? Right? You literally can't just unpack it in 5 seconds and be like, oh, wham, bam, I'm done. Like, I wish that it worked that way for everyone, but it really doesn't. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't take 5 pounds out of the backpack at a time. And 5 pounds is a lot. Okay. But if your backpack weighs 1,000 pounds, it takes a little while if we're taking 5, 10 pounds out here and there. But the point is, right, every day you're like, wow, I feel a little better. And so then by the time you get to, working on this for a little bit, then suddenly you're like, hey, I used to could barely walk. Maybe you were crawling. I used to could only crawl. Now I'm like standing up a little bit. I'm like a little bit hunched over, but I'm walking. And then, suddenly you're like, I'm a little bit more upward. And now I'm walking. And before you know it, you're running. And then the backpack has nothing in it but a bottle of water, and you're just 100 miles an hour and you're beautiful. And you're telling me, Amy, when I first came to you, I felt like I wanted to take my life. And now I am starting my own business and my life is amazing. And those are my favorite stories, right? Those are the ones that really get to me. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you can do to engage your cognitive mind into this practice. So we already got into the subconscious, right? We're connecting. We're like, hey, I'm going to feel it raw and real. What am I feeling? Let's use guilt. Raw and real. I used to have guilt so bad after my husband took his life that I would wake up in the middle of the night in an absolute, what I now know is a panic attack. I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. And before that, I would have thought that people that are like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. I'm like, okay. I would have been like, breathe through it. Like, what's the big deal? Until I had one myself. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I really honestly feel like I'm having a heart attack. And by that point, I had been a pilot in the military. I had done so many amazing things. And so for me, it was really a eye-opening, humbling experience to realize that, wow, I am really not in a good place. And so this is what I did to overcome this. And of course, it was magnified after my daughter passed away because those two events I just couldn't deal with. And so that's why I'm here now, is because I have learned to do this. I want you to learn to do it because I'm here to give you hope that no matter what you're going through, you can find joy again. 100%. Okay. So this is how we do this. So we now know we sat with ourselves, and if you need to wait till you start feeling it and then catch yourself and sit down instead of shoving it in the backpack, be like, no, come on, raw and real. What am I feeling? Ooh, there it is. And even when you do that, you'll notice that some of it will release because you're not resisting it anymore. So your body just automatically allows some of it to flow away. It's quite a phenomenal thing. All right. So breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth is the greatest way to do that. Sometimes I can get rid of it right away by just actually thinking about sending out that emotion right at my toes, and it'll just go. So give that a shot. All right, here we go. So this is what we do. We are now imprinting into our cognitive mind by repeating. We are rewiring our neuroplasticity of our brain. And so we repeat these things. That's how we change the brain up here. We repeat things and we redirect our thinking. So we felt the feeling, and instead of resisting it, which is what we've all been taught, just don't feel it. Just shove it away. We're actually going to feel it because we need to know what it is in order to do this next part. If you don't know what it is, then you can't insert the words here. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that the word that I'm focusing on, or the feeling that I'm focusing on, because remember, we're changing these feelings. Go back to what I told you. We're changing these feelings that have a negative vibration to something positive. That's the goal here, because we cannot erase memories, but we can change the vibrational frequencies of them so that when we think about them, they no longer trigger us. Okay. So here we go. And some of this happens gradually for people over time, right? For people that don't actually do any of this work over time, usually the vibration shifts and we're able to deal with stuff more. So this is just a way of getting to that space much quicker and actually healing yourself. So I'm going to read this to you. And if you are dealing with something right now, you can actually close your eyes and we'll do this for you. So we're going to do this for guilt. Okay. Watch how beautiful this is. I like to read these 3 times. I just do sets of 3s. That's just what my number is. But you can do this for yourself as many times as you want. Okay. So breathe in, allow yourself to relax. You can melt into your chair, whatever feels good for you. And this is what we do to replace these thoughts. I give myself permission to release my guilt to higher power. I'm in alignment to understand the lessons from my past as part of the beauty in my future. I choose to live in this moment, making it the best that I can. I release the destructive cellular memories that no longer serve me. I am deserving, willing, and capable of my divine role. With complete forgiveness and unconditional love, I allow myself to receive wholeness at every part of my being. I have compassion for myself and others, and with gratitude, I accept and choose to be happy. I feel happy. I am happy. And so it is. And then I would repeat that to myself. Ooh, I just got chills. Okay. So I'm giving myself permission. Now, some of you are going to be like, reading a script like this, how is that really doing anything for me? You guys, here's what's happening. Okay. A couple of things. One, you are getting in alignment with your cognitive mind. So your cognitive mind is believing, your cognitive mind is saying it. Okay. Your subconscious mind believes what you say. That's why when you guys are walking around being like, I'm ugly, I don't like myself. Like if I hear someone in my family say, I don't like myself, I'm dumb, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm fat, you get, from the mom, because we don't talk like that about ourselves. Your brain believes everything you say. It doesn't even have to be said out loud. You can have a thought and your brain will believe what you say. That's why it's really important too to watch your thoughts about what you think about other people, because when you do that, your brain automatically thinks that about yourself too. It's just kind of a way that it works. So when I read this out loud or to myself, I believe exactly what I say. So I'm going to read it again. And now I want you to think about that as I read it. I'm believing exactly what I say. So think about how beautiful it is, what I'm believing. Okay, so let's do this again. I give myself permission to release my guilt to higher power. I'm in alignment to understand the lessons from my past as part of the beauty of my future. I choose to live in this moment, making it the best that I can. I release the destructive cellular memories that no longer serve me. I'm deserving, willing, and capable of my divine role. With complete forgiveness and unconditional love, I allow myself to receive wholeness at every part of my being. I have compassion for myself and others. With gratitude, I accept and choose to be happy. I feel happy. I am happy. And so it is. Let's dissect this a little bit. I give myself permission. Wow, I just told my subconscious, you can have permission to release guilt. And you can replace the guilt with anything, okay? You can change the entire wording of this. It doesn't matter. It's about telling your subconscious that it's okay to do this. I give myself permission to release my guilt to higher power. You can replace higher power with God. You can replace higher power with whatever that is for you. Higher source, if there's a specific God or goddess that you follow, I don't care. Align it with whatever you believe. I give myself permission to release my guilt to higher power. I use higher power because it aligns with most everyone. It's some kind of higher power, right? I am in alignment to understand. How beautiful is that? I'm in alignment to understand the lessons from my past as part of the beauty in my future. I just told my mind, wow, there's an actual lesson that you learned, and it's part of a beautiful future. And now my subconscious is like, okay, I like it. I choose to live in this moment. Living in the now is absolutely necessary. I don't know where my book is, but there's a beautiful book about this. I have so many books, I don't know where it is right now. It's probably over there. Anyway, living in the now. It does you no good to live in the past. It does you no good to live in the future. You've got to live in this moment right now. What can I do right now to better myself? Because if you're always like, well, I'll be successful when I da 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 da. I'll be successful when my back stops hurting. I'll be successful when I make X amount of money. You're setting yourself up to never get there because you're telling yourself that you won't be until, and until will never happen because you're not there. So you do it right now. I'm successful now. I'm successful today because I'm alive. I'm successful today because I don't even care. I'm successful today because my name is Amy. Make it as simple as you want. You are confirming with your brain that you are in alignment with whatever you do. That is the ultimate power to creating manifestations for yourself. It has to be in the now. Okay, so I choose to live in this moment, making it the best that I can. Beautiful. I'm making this the best that I can. Good job. I release the destructive cellular memories that no longer serve me. Oh, my subconscious is like, oh, hey, everybody, gather all that up. She just said we can release all this stuff that no longer serves me. Okay, put it in a pile. We're going to burn it. I am deserving. Oh, hello. I'm deserving, willing. I'm willing to do this and capable. Huh. Guys, she just said we can burn this. We're deserving, willing, and capable of my divine role. Now, be honest with yourself. How many of you, when I said divine role, were kind of like, did you question yourself for a second? Because you don't believe in yourself, right? I don't have a divine role. Get that out of your head, okay? You're deserving, willing, and capable of your divine role. With complete forgiveness, I forgive myself. Unconditional love. I have unconditional love for myself. And look how beautiful we are for this. We're receiving wholeness to every part of my being. I have compassion for myself and other people with gratitude. We are putting in things that help us vibrate at a higher level, guys. Compassion, unconditional love, forgiveness, deserving, willing. Those are all things that are higher vibrational frequencies of emotions, right? We're getting rid of the guilt. We're getting rid of the anxiety. We're getting rid of whatever it is. And then we're going to replace them. So at the end, we're reaffirming, right? I accept and choose to be happy. And you replace that word with whatever it is you want. I choose to be relaxed. I choose to be whole, healthy, happy. Just replace it with a positive. Joy. I choose to be lovable. I choose to give love. You get it? I feel happy. I am happy. Those are in the moments right now, right? I don't feel happy when. I will be happy when. No, I feel happy. I am happy. Get you out of the space and you repeat it as necessary. If you want to wake up every morning and do this for yourself, somebody starts getting into your bubble and you're kind of stressing out, go find a quiet space and do it, okay? So get you out of the space. Repeat. I'm going to answer Fred's question here, and then I'm going to tell you how to stay out of this space, okay? Saying I'm in alignment without anything I do. What about family events? We're always excluded until the one I have to go. So Fred, I have my very own opinion on family events and doing things where you're excluded. And, you know, my answer is actually incredibly simple. Don't go. I don't go anywhere where I am not a person that is treated with respect and value. And if that means not going to my own family functions, then I don't go to them. So, for example, my husband's family is very not receptive to me. I am not the type of person that tolerates behavior that is unhealthy, and I'm not a person that hides things in the closet. And so because there are some very unhealthy, toxic family behaviors going on there, I choose to not be involved with it. And I also do not sit around a table where when I stand up and leave, then I become the subject negatively. It's not worth it to me. And I don't allow people to damage me like that. So I don't go. And somebody can say, well, that's your grandmother. You're right, it is. But if there are people at my grandmother's house that are not healthy for me and that I know are not in my vibrational energy field, I do not lower myself to that level to be accepted by people. So if my grandmother wants to be upset about that, then that is my grandmother's issue and not mine. But we have been taught that we have to respect our elders. And so we put up with all kinds of stuff from family members because we're all supposed to be lovable and get along. And we have this like imaginary fantasy that we're all just a bunch of unicorns frolicking in the pasture and that everything is great. In fact, I worked with someone a couple days ago and I was just like, man, remove yourself. Remove yourself from the situation because she was being treated so poorly by her family members that it just was damaging her to her inner core. And I was like, yeah, there becomes a time where, leave. I'll give you the scissors. Just go. But the problem is you have this past agreement in your head that it's not respectful, that they're my family, so I have to. You guys, that's a reality that we've made and that we've imprisoned ourselves with that doesn't actually need to exist. So create your own reality. Well, Amy, then people will think I'm mean. Okay. That's that. Love yourself enough to love yourself enough. Okay. Love yourself enough to love yourself because you are just disregarding who you are when you allow other people to treat you poorly. Okay. So here's how you stay out of this space. You repeat these things. So you become aware, right? Something starts to happen. I'm going to sit with myself. Why am I feeling this way? Go really deep so you can be like, oh yeah, I recognize this. This is an unresolved issue. Can I fix it? If I can't feel it raw and real, then give yourself permission to let it go. If you've done everything you possibly can, then let it go. Be honest with yourself. Because sometimes it's ugly to think, wow, did I really do someone wrong? Because if you did, fix it. Own up to what you did and fix it. Like, I'm going to tell you something horrible that happened to me. I haven't brought this up for a while, but I have a sister-in-law that I tried to mend some fences with. And it was 2 days after my baby girl passed away. And I saw her in a Walmart, and I tried to ask her what it was that I had done, because she'd been acting really offish with us for like over a year and a half, to the point where like I would wave at her when I would drive by, and she would purposefully pretend like she didn't see me. So of course at the first I was like, is she really not seeing me or what? And then I realized, oh my gosh, she's just like not waving back. And it was just really weird. So I kind of took this is, keep in mind guys, this is also before I got into this work. So I'm like trying to like see, I'm like trying to tell my mother-in-law, like, I don't know what's going on. And my mother-in-law's like, oh, I have no idea what's going on either. When I know actually later that she did know. That's why I'm not into family games. But eventually, I actually manifested this, which is really weird because I didn't know that I could do that back then. But I was like, before I went to the Walmart, I knew I was going to see her. I knew she was in there. Not because I saw her car. I just knew it, right? I could feel her energy. And I was like, I'm going to run into her while we're in the Walmart. And so I like already knew what I was going to do. And I confronted her, and oh my gosh, I was like the most humbled person ever, because I was like, please, can we fix this? My daughter just died. Like, I don't want this energy, because of how they acted at my daughter's funeral. I was so just like, ugh. Anyway, she looks me straight in the eye and says to me, I don't care that your daughter died. Now, what do you think happened when I went and told my husband that that happened? And then my husband confronted someone in the family and said, this is what she said. What do you think she did? I never said that. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that's what she's doing, because the whole family won't talk to me now. But right, I never said that. I would never say that. Well, you did say it. And so if you've done something like that, you can't just go along with life and think that, everything's great and that you don't have things coming back to get in your way of your happiness. So if you have something like that, I'm telling you that the law of karma is alive. You need to fix what you've done. Otherwise, you will never be able to fully progress to any higher level of living. And ultimately, if you believe that there is some beautiful thing that happens after you pass away, you've got to get to that space. You've got to be elevated to a higher space, and you can't do that when you're dragging karma around by the ball and chain. So, but if you have done that and you have resolved staying out of the space, get into some routines. Routines are a great way to stay out of spaces, but make sure they're healthy routines, right? Getting up every morning and sitting on the couch and not doing anything is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting in a routine where you wake up, you take care of yourself. I take a shower, I brush my teeth, I go for a walk for 5 minutes. I don't care if it's that little. Do something for yourself that is a positive. I always give myself 3 non-negotiable items that I have to do for the day, because I want to end my day feeling like I was successful. And sometimes my 3 negotiable items are humongous. They're going to be like, I'm going to write a book today. I'm going to do a video and I'm going to post it to my course. I'm going to work on 17 clients. And then the next day I might not be doing so hot. So my 3 non-negotiable items might be, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to do laundry, 3 loads, and I'm going to fold them and put them away. And I'm going to do the dishes. So I align what I'm doing that day with how I'm feeling. That way, when I get to the end of the day, no matter what, you guys, I never bash myself. I don't say, wow, you didn't do what you needed to get done today. No, I end my day always getting done what I need to get done. And then therefore my brain views myself as being highly successful. So what do you think I do? I align with being highly successful. It really is all about figuring out your brain. Okay. So do routines, and then allow yourself permission to feel. Stop getting into space where you're like, oh, I don't want to feel that. It's yucky. And so I'll shove it in the backpack, and then the cycle continues. The cycle continues. The cycle continues. Okay, guys. I thought there was something else I said I was going to do at the end, but I can't remember what it was. So anywho, there you go. So hop into my group. The link is posted. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a beautiful, fantastic night, and give some of these things a try. You'll be amazed at how much your vibrational energy shifts, and you are able to really take things on because stuff stops triggering you all the time. All right. Thank you.